Hi. What do you think of when you hear the word slave? Jeffers, in his paper that we read this week, said Greek thinkers like Plato and Aristotle believed that some slaves were slaves by nature and subhuman, while others were just simply slaves by circumstance. I think a lot of times this is how we in the United States view slavery, considering what happened pre-Civil War and even post-Civil War here in the States, and the way that African Americans were treated, beaten, and subjected to humiliation. Many times here in the United States, slaves could not purchase their own freedom, while in Paul's day, they could. Many would sell themselves into slavery to pay off debt, while others were slaves because of the way that the Roman Empire conquered. Many times before the Roman Empire, when one nation would defeat another in battle, they would just slaughter everyone. And at some point before the Roman Empire, the empires that were before them decided they were going to subject these other nations to slavery. We saw this in the way that Israel was taken to Babylon and was taken into slavery, into bondage. When we think of slavery, though, we need to be thinking in first century terms when we read this in Scripture. We many times will impose our own thoughts and our own ideas of what slavery really means. When we think of this in our church today, many non-Christians think this way. Non-Christians often pride themselves on being free in contrast to Christians, who in their estimation have lost their human autonomy by bowing the knee to Christ. While this may seem true to some extent, and yes, we do lose some of our autonomy, we still have free choices that we make every day. But we gladly bow the knee to Christ because of what He's done for us. We are slaves because He has paid the price for our sin. And this is the amazing aspect of calling ourselves slaves to Christ. John MacArthur says in his book, aptly named Slave, he says, throughout the New Testament, believers are repeatedly called to embrace the perspective of those who belong to Christ, and therefore lovingly submit to Him as Master. That kind of perspective has serious implications for how we as believers think and act. Now consider that for a moment, that we as believers are willingly calling ourselves slaves. This type of rhetoric comes with action. It doesn't come lightly. This means we need to submit to Christ's authority and be obedient sons and daughters. Thank you. Have a great day.